being active and playing 4 games and then not, and like not feeling the best, and then like frustrated of like how hard I worked in the off season, and then like all I do is rehab and like continue to do this process and just like trying to trust that the best I can. And obviously there's really frustrating days, and there's days where like it's a little bit easier and like you're very, very motivated and like you're close to the finish line of getting back and being back, and then like it's not like I have a training camp to like build up to like playing my first game again. It's like, no, like you're tossed into game 30. Like,
picture this. The WNBA wakes up to whispers that its brightest star, Caitlin Clark, might have an expiration date, and it reads 2026. The rumor mill is in overdrive, with experts dropping doomsday takes like confetti and insiders hinting at drama behind the scenes. It's not just a basketball story anymore. It's a full-on soap opera in sneakers. The league's reaction? Panic masked as PR, like someone just told them the season ends tomorrow. From outlandish theories to eyebrow-raising leaks, the chaos is spreading fast. If any of this proves true, the WNBA's golden era could have a countdown clock ticking.
If everyone can stop the pearl clutching for just a minute, and I say that as a turn of phrase, not because it's women's basketball, you'd realize this is the best thing imaginable for this league. And listen, I said this back when Caitlin was at Iowa, and everyone was, I thought, being overly protective of her, and I thought a lot of that had to do with like, oh, this little white girl in a black sport. And I was like, man, she is a badass and a trash talker and gives it as good as she gets it.
The WNBA's panic button hasn't just been pressed. It's been smashed so hard, the alarm might be permanent. And no, it's not over a historic TV contract or some jaw-dropping dunk. It's because the harsh truth is setting in. The only thing standing between this league and YMCA-level pickup ball is Caitlin Clark. Take her out of the equation, and suddenly the product on the floor looks like a blooper reel titled Beginner's Guide to Dribbling. Let's be real. If Caitlin's gone, Sophie Cunningham's gone, Lexi Hull's gone, I'm gone, you're gone, and the stands are emptier than a Tuesday matinee. All that's left? Kathy Engelbert's lonely chair and 2 dusty foam fingers from the league's launch year.
This is something that do not be surprised if President Trump speaks on with that kind of audience that is protective of a Caitlin Clark and what she stands for and what she represents. And they come to a conclusion that they believe she is being unfairly treated. That is going to be a problem for the WNBA. And based on Trump's history with the NFL and him being an obvious sports fan, goes to events and stuff like that, he pays attention to this kind of stuff. I'm just warning them, watch it, because if he gets involved and that base gets involved, because somehow, some way they embrace victimhood on a part of Kate.
Let's be real. The only reason this is even a debate is because no one wants to say the quiet part out loud. Caitlin Clark is playing championship-level chess while the rest of the WNBA is stuck on hungry, hungry hippos with half the marbles missing. It's not a contest anymore. She's threading passes through windows that barely exist, hitting shots so absurd they make physics professors reconsider their careers, and dragging the league's entertainment value on her back. Meanwhile, we're being spoon-fed the narrative that Angel Reese is a must-watch star. Angel Reese, whose highlight reel could double as a slow-motion tutorial for backyard hoops. If that's your marketing centerpiece, congratulations. You've got a front-row seat on the express train to irrelevance.
She is an object of scorn for good reason. She's awesome. She's swaggery. She does turn your home crowd into a road crowd. She is a frustrating player to guard, all of it. And if she is, for some of these teams, a bit of a villain, that's sweet. It only will make her better. She is already one of the 3 or 4 best players in the sport, as a lot of us thought she would be in short order. And sports are best like this.
Here's the kicker. It's like the WNBA has zero interest in protecting Caitlin Clark. Honestly, it feels like there's a shadow committee whose only job is to make her life harder. Step 1, bring in refs who must moonlight as Vegas magicians because they keep making legitimate basketball plays vanish into thin air. 1 second you're watching a pinpoint assist, The next, it's been erased and replaced with some phantom foul call. These officials have turned games into interpretive dance routines, complete with dramatic pauses, where Caitlyn's crime isn't breaking the rules. It's daring to be the best player on the floor.
I mean, yeah, like, I would have loved to win one of them, but honestly, like, two of my most fun nights in college were after losing the national championship. Like,
yeah, fair.
We had just as much fun.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I mean, yes, we were sad. We would have loved to win one of them. And I think I would have loved to win one of them. Not so much because, like, okay, yeah, like, I win one of them, we get, like, a ring, whatever, like, people celebrate. But, like, honestly, I think people celebrated us just as much as they did if we, didn't win, obviously.
There's a simple fix for this mess. Fire every single ref and replace them with traffic cones. At least cones can't invent calls out of thin air. But instead, we've got Kathy Engelbert sitting in the league office like a clueless high school principal who thinks banning chewing gum will solve the dropout crisis. Which leads us to the only logical move. Fire Engelbert. Fire her twice just to be certain. And if Adam Silver won't step in to make it happen, fire Adam Silver too. In fact, just keep swinging the axe until someone with actual basketball sense realizes the league's biggest asset is being sabotaged by a mix of incompetence, indifference, and the kind of officiating that would embarrass a middle school scrimmage.
If everyone can stop the pearl clutching for just a minute, and I say that as a turn of phrase, not because it's women's basketball, you'd realize this is the best thing imaginable for this league. And listen, I said this back when Caitlyn was at Iowa, and everyone was, I thought, being overly protective of her, and I thought a lot of that had to do with, like, oh, this little white girl in a black sport. And I was like, man, she is a badass and a trash talker and gives it as good as she gets it. And
And while we're at it, let's stop pretending this is all going to magically get better. Caitlin Clark could stay in the WNBA, sure. She could grit her teeth, keep dropping 30 a night, and watch her ankles get hacked to pieces by defenders who couldn't stop a folding chair if it rolled toward the basket. But why? Why waste the prime of your career in a league that treats you like you're just another jersey number? If she went to the EuroLeague, not only would she make more money, she'd also play in an environment where refs don't need Google Maps to find the rule book. She'd be respected, protected, paid. But the rest? Let's just say there's a reason the highlight packages on social media are 90% Caitlin Clark plays and 10% people tripping over themselves. And yet the marketing machine is spinning so hard they're trying to convince you that you can't miss Angel Reese versus Caitlin Clark. Oh yes, please, let me rearrange my entire schedule to watch Clark casually dismantle someone who still struggles with basic shooting mechanics.
Good news and some bad news for those who are fans of pretend basketball. For those who are desperate to see the WNBA succeed, even though this dump of a league can't seem to get the hell out of their own way. Now, the WNBA, they refer to these people as fans, but the rest of us, we prefer to call them the mainstream media. The good news is, WNBA ratings have been somewhat solid, even though Caitlin Clark has missed damn near the entire season.
The truth is, people watch the NBA or top-tier college games when they want to see real basketball. They watch the WNBA for two reasons: Caitlin Clark, and occasionally because their remote died and they're stuck on ESPN2. The league can't handle that reality, so they hide it under layers of forced hype and bad officiating. And instead of making life easier for their one true star, they've apparently decided to run her through the gauntlet until she either breaks down or walks away. Here's how this plays out. 2026 rolls around. The last year before Clark's contract gives her a chance to leave. She takes a good look around. The refs are still lost. Engelbert's still in charge. Adam Silver is still doing whatever Adam Silver does when he's not ruining the NBA All-Star game. And she decides enough is enough. It'll be a full-on league-wide existential crisis. The kind of meltdown where even the mascots are calling in sick. The ratings will nosedive faster than an off-target Reese layup. Ticket sales will crater. And suddenly those endless press releases about record-breaking growth will be replaced by awkward silence. ESPN will quietly move the WNBA back to the 3 a.m. slot after Cornhole Championships, and the only people left talking about the league will be the ones asking, "Hey, whatever happened to Caitlin Clark?"
Playoffs, but she was eliminated, swept in 2 games. But the WNBA, man, these players have been acting like they are victims. Now, Caitlin Clark has brought a whole bunch of eyes to the WNBA. And what do these players actually do? Folks, it has gotten really, really ridiculous, man, in the WNBA, because all these players are screaming racism for the fans. Yes, they are attacking the fans.
Which brings me back to the simplest, most obvious fix that will never happen. Fire Engelbert. Fire Adam Silver. Fire every ref who thinks calling a foul on a clean block is maintaining game control. Replace them with people who understand that Caitlin Clark isn't just the face of the league, she is the league. Without her, the WNBA is just a badly lit gym filled with awkward jump shots and even more awkward marketing campaigns. But hey, maybe they'll get lucky. Maybe Caitlin will stay out of sheer loyalty or some vague sense of unfinished business. Maybe she'll decide that the challenge of dragging an entire league up to her level is worth it. Or maybe she'll wake up one day, realize that her prime years are too valuable to waste on a system that seems actively hostile to excellence, and pack her bags for Europe. When that happens, all the spin in the world won't hide the truth. The WNBA had the best thing to happen to it in decades, and they let her walk. You can almost hear Engelbert trying to explain on TV how this is an opportunity for new stars to emerge. Right? Just like replacing LeBron with a guy who plays in church league is an opportunity for someone to shine.
And it literally pisses me off when people are like, she's not the face of the league.
Who would be?
What?
Sabrina? No.
No, there's really good, well-known people in our league. I'm not discrediting them. We have a lot of badasses in our league.
Yeah.
Hell yeah to that. I'm all for that. But when people try to argue that she's not the face of our league, or if our league would be where we're at without her, you're dumb as shit.
Yeah.
You're literally dumb as fuck.
The fans will be furious, of course. Social media will go nuclear. The WNBA subreddit will have more conspiracy threads than a UFO forum, all asking the same thing. Why didn't anyone protect her? And the answers will be obvious to everyone except the people in charge. It's not that hard. Stop letting refs treat her like she's a piñata at a birthday party for toddlers with baseball bats. But here's the problem. This league runs on denial like it's an energy source. Engelbert could walk into the office tomorrow, see a giant neon sign flashing "Fire Engelbert" over her desk, and she'd still schedule another press conference about growth opportunities. She steps off the plane, and instantly, she's treated like royalty. Fans waving her jersey in the streets. Sponsors lining up to write her checks so big they need extra zeros just to fit. The referees? They're not perfect. No one is. But at least they're not trying to invent new fouls just to slow her down. And every game she's facing teams stacked with talent because the EuroLeague isn't trying to convince you a 35% shooter is a superstar. Over there, if you can't compete, you sit down. Over here, if you can't compete, they give you a nickname and a shoe deal.
Applies to a fresh turd. These numbers without the roof from Waterloo look great. Instead of a freshly baked turd with no activity, there are definitely some flies attracted to this unbelievably bad product. In some cases, I've heard the WNBA even managed to attract a horsefly or two. But WNBA players, they are demanding million-dollar contracts, million-dollar salaries. WNBA players are demanding a larger portion of revenue. Now, notice their demands involve revenue, not profit. If the WNBA implemented a profit-sharing model, the players would be paying to...
Meanwhile, back in the WNBA, the new era kicks off without Caitlin Clark. The opening night TV ratings? Let's just say you could count the viewers on a decent-sized abacus. The highlight of the night is a banked-in three-pointer that was very obviously an accident. ESPN tries to hype it up anyway. Unbelievable. But even the commentators can't keep a straight face. Angel Reese is still out here flexing after layups that took 4 bounces on the rim. And the league's idea of drama is whether someone wore mismatched socks during warm-ups. The funniest part is, they'll still try to sell this as competitive balance. Oh sure, every team is competitive now, because without Caitlin Clark, nobody's good enough to stand out. It's like a cooking show where everyone's just microwaving frozen dinners. Technically, yes, it's fair. But nobody's tuning in for that. Here's where the spiral really gets bad. Attendance. That first season without Caitlin, whole sections of arenas will be empty, except for Engelbert's friends and a guy selling churros who's only there because it's his cousin's job. Season ticket holders will suddenly discover other hobbies, like watching paint dry or counting the ceiling tiles in their living rooms. The league will start handing out free tickets with every sandwich purchase just to get people in the door. And you know what the league office will do? They'll double down on the hype. "We have a new face of the league," they'll say, while unveiling a player whose stats look like the scoreboard from a t-ball game. They'll put her on every poster, every promo, and every halftime interview, and within 2 weeks, fans will be asking if she's injured because they haven't seen her do anything in a game yet.
Fever basketball team has been hit with several blows, man, this whole season. Caitlin Clark went down early. You even had at one point Sophie Cunningham going down for a little bit. But one thing I can say is that a lot of these players like Kelsey Mitchell, Leah Boston, Natasha Howard stayed the course. You know, when you want to make it to that next level, especially in the second half of the season, going to make an impact all throughout the league, you have to stay the course. And that's just...
Meanwhile, Caitlin's EuroLeague highlights will be going viral weekly. Step-back threes from the logo, no-look passes through traffic, buzzer beaters in sold-out arenas. The kind of stuff that makes you remember why you fell in love with basketball in the first place. And every time one of those clips drops, another layer of WNBA credibility peels away. It'll be like watching a sandcastle slowly collapse as the tide comes in. The media will have a field day. "What went wrong?" they'll ask, as if the answer isn't tattooed across the forehead of the league in neon ink. Fire Engelbert. This isn't subtle. It's not complicated. Translation: we can spin this into a marketing strategy so no one has to admit we messed up. They'll probably even send Engelbert to her first EuroLeague game just to film a clip about building bridges between leagues, and she'll smile into the camera like she wasn't the one holding the scissors that cut the bridge in half.
At this point, I think we all can agree that Caitlin Clark is going to be returning to action, but the question I have for all of you is, how many games do you think she needs under her belt going into playoff time for her to get into the swing of things? You want to see her play nothing in the regular season? First game back, she's in a series against the Phoenix Mercury. First game back, she's in a series against the Atlanta Dream. Do you want to see her play the 5 games remaining in the schedule? There's only 12 games left.
This is why fans are already saying it. If Clark's gone, they're gone. Cunningham's gone, Hull's gone. The last one to leave can turn off the lights. And while they're at it, maybe they can tape a little note to Engelbert's desk on the way out. It didn't have to be this way. Of course, the league will pretend they don't hear it. They'll keep pushing the narrative that everything's fine, everything's growing, everything's on track. But numbers don't lie, and neither do empty seats. When the panic really hits, when the sponsors start pulling their money, when the networks start moving games to streaming-only channels nobody's heard of, then maybe, someone will remember that all of this could have been avoided with 2 easy steps. Fire Engelbert. Fire Adam Silver. Spoiler, she's not. Because the cold reality is this: you can market, hype, and spin all you want, but you can't fake greatness. And if you keep driving greatness away, don't be shocked when the only thing left is mediocrity wrapped in a glossy brochure.
Luana Bonner drama. We know that was a locker room situation, but guess what? They stayed the course. And that's what they got to do to make it to the WNBA championship. Ultimately, a lot of people have been boycotting for Caitlin Clark to not come back. With Ari McDonald down, Sydney Colson down, a lot of people feel like the depth isn't what it was. I feel like Caitlin Clark definitely need to come back. Sophie Cunningham, the way she's been balling, they'll be all right, man.
When the inevitable State of the League press conference rolls around, it's going to be a comedy show disguised as corporate optimism. Kathy Engelbert will take the podium grinning like she just hit the jackpot, while the league smolders behind her. She'll gush about exciting young talent, conveniently skipping over the fact that half the rosters are stacked with players averaging more turnovers than points. She'll brag about record-breaking engagement, even though the only viral clip that week will be Caitlin Clark dropping 40 in a EuroLeague playoff for a team whose arena serves better coffee than most WNBA venues. And by then, the WNBA won't even be in panic mode. They'll be numb. Because when the one player who actually moved the needle is gone, all that's left is regret, empty seats, and the echoes of a chant they ignored for too long. Fire Engelbert. Fire Adam Silver. If you enjoyed leaving a like and subscribing, more videos are on the screen now.